Welcome to Macro Monday. So it's -2 degrees at the moment and there is plenty of water on the grounds. So today's Macro Monday is going to be about ice. Good morning and welcome to another Macro Monday. So I've been driving around this morning looking for ice because it is -1 at the moment and we were promised a bit of snow and a lot of ice. Now, I've come to Dartmoor, it's sort of on the edge of Dartmoor. River Teen's just going past me here. I've been looking for anything in the fields and around, and I've just come out of the way a minute because it's on a main road, but I've come across this area just as I drove past, I saw it, where some ice, stalactites, I don't know if water's considered stalactites, I know it comes off of the caves, doesn't it, and it's a stalactite. I don't know if ice is a stalactite as well. I don't know if it's got a certain type of mineral in it to be classified as a stalactite, but anyway, going off piste. But where the car's driving through the puddles, it's splashing up on the hedges and then it's causing the ice the water to freeze. And I'll take you up there and show you up there, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to film whilst I take photos up there because it is a bit dangerous with all the cars going past. So I'm going to try and get a couple of focus stacks and maybe some just individual images without stacking them. And I'll pop the images up on the screen and we'll see what they look like. You can see I think the riverbank just through there has overflown into the road, which is why there's so much water sitting on the road. Absolutely beautiful. Look how nice that looks. I did a few different stacks of this image, and this is the one that came out the best, I think. I'm quite happy with the composition. The only thing I don't really like is the bit at the bottom third where the branch comes right across the frame. Although to get a good composition, there wasn't really many places you could stand without getting a branch in your frame. After all, I guess it is a hedge. As you can tell, it's a little bit difficult on a main road. I suppose these photos aren't really macro photos as such, but extreme close-up. If I'd have gone complete macro on them and got as close as I could, the images just wouldn't look very good. You need that little bit of distance from the subject to make a good photo in this case. Compositionally, I wish I'd just moved to the left a little bit just to get that top left and the bottom right icicle away from that branch, just to give it a separation, but I'm happy with it how it turned out. It looks quite nice, I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. And the stacks just didn't work. I even tried it in Zareen Stacker, but it just would not give me a nice stack. And actually Zareen Stacker over Photoshop came off worse than Photoshop did. To the eye it looks awesome, but what it looks like on camera, I don't know. I must have looked like a right loony to the car drivers driving past, especially if you're not into photography. Probably just looked a bit weird, someone standing in a puddle to take a photo of a hedge. I really wasn't sure how well this image would come out with 16 images stacked together, handheld, and I'm quite happy with the way it's turned out. I had to do a little bit of a Photoshop at the bottom just to get rid of the cone that was in the bottom of the photo, but other than that, I think the image looks quite nice. I think the most difficult part I found was trying to create the stack standing in such awkward positions, and because it's up against a hedge, I'm taking the photo's portrait, so I'm in such an awkward position to try and get a good stack, and trying to keep yourself steady and not move too much while standing in puddles against the hedge whilst listening for traffic becomes a bit of a challenge. Morning. It's big boy. Morning. Right, I might have just to call it at this location. It's getting busier now as time gets on. It's now 11:15. Yeah, so I'm going to move to another location. Hopefully those images came out okay. Don't know. Quite enjoyed taking that. So, okay, it's now 1 o'clock. I've been driving around ever since I left that last location. Now, this is the only other bit of ice I've been able to find. Might grab a wide angle of this when I finish with the macros in a minute. I couldn't believe how frozen this lake was. The ice had started to crack around the edges. And it's created this white pool of bubbles, I guess. Get a couple of shots and I'll put them up on the screen. Some great looking bubbles in the water where it's obviously frozen over and the bubbles have come up afterwards. Let's see if I can get a couple of images of them. I'm not too sure because they're quite far out and I don't want to lean out and then break the ice basically, because as you lean on the edge of the bank, even that pressure just cracks the ice. So I'm leaning over and you can hear the ice cracking underneath. So whether I get the image or not is a different thing. But as the bubbles go out, they get denser. So there's a lot more little bubbles around the bigger bubbles, which is the bit that I like. But I can't get to that because that is way too far. One of the bonuses of everything being frozen is there's not a lot of people out, and the isolation and just being able to get on and take photos without really being disturbed too much. There was a couple of cars in the car park and you see the occasional car go past, but ultimately I was pretty much on my own. I think this is probably one of the worst and best shoots I've done in a while, just because the potential in the ice to get a good image was so amazing and just how cold it was. The problem with macro photography is you can't really prepare too much for what you're going to photograph because you just don't know what's going to be there when you get there and how that will look on camera in a macro form. And I didn't really hold out much hope for these images because at the end of the day it's just ice, and ice close up doesn't seem that interesting. So I was actually quite surprised when the photos came out. The first set of photos that I got were good, but they were just extreme close-up, if you like. They weren't so much macro. But the detail in the bubble photos is what really impressed me. These ones really are the true reason I do macro and just how impressive they look. The different intricacies of the structures of the ice and how you can see the lines flowing through it and how the different formation of bubbles and how it all gets trapped underneath the ice. I think the close-up of the bubbles almost looks like something completely different, almost like leather or the surface of the moon. I'll leave you with this final image of the pool of water. Okay, so that's me done for another Macro Monday. Hopefully you like the images. Let me know what you think of them in the comments. That's always appreciated. If you like the video, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. Helps with the algorithm. And if you're not already subscribed, please do consider subscribing, because you'll get notifications every time a new Macro Monday will drop. It's usually on a Monday, obviously, hence the title. And I'll catch you on the next one.